This may not work. We'll see. Example 3. Sine law to solve it all. I have an audience today. This is amazing. So I'm going to be talking to them, so you could just, it'll just be weird. Anyway, so the first thing that this question says is show that there only one triangle can be made if you have an 8 and a 12 side. And that's kind of the 6.3 part that I told you guys to skip because it's a lot of work for not a lot. So basically what they want to do is go the ratio of the sides, and if it works out that this side is bigger than the side that we started with, then there can only be one triangle. So it's kind of like if this were smaller, it could fit in here, or it could swing out, and it would still end up being a valid triangle. But since this angle is, or this side is bigger, it can't really swing backwards, and then, or it would be an obtuse triangle instead. So when they're talking about whether it can be one triangle or two triangles, it's just kind of talking about whether the other side is smaller or bigger than the side that you started with. So I don't know, it's not really a big deal. I don't worry too much about it. If you guys want to investigate it, you can check out 6.3 and kind of go through the exercises. It sets up different triangles and talks about the ratios of the sides, blah, blah, blah. I don't really know how you're going to use that in life, so I don't really worry too much about it. Anyway, the big point of example 3 is that you're supposed to be able to solve everything on this triangle given that you just have a couple of sides and an angle. So we know that sine law lets us deal with opposite angles and sides, right? So we can set this up by looking at it and figuring out which ones are opposite of each other. So we've got 55 degrees and 12 that are opposite to each other, and we figured that out just by following their little instructions to draw the triangle. Now I'm going to go sine on top because that's how I roll. It doesn't matter as long as you've got consistency across your ratios. So my other sine is going to go here. Now I only have 8, so the only side I can find, or sorry, the only angle I can find right now is the one that's across from 8, so that would be r. So sine of r is going to be over 8. Sine of 45 or 55 degrees is going to be over 12. I cross multiply the ones that are diagonal to each other, and then I divide the one that's left. So I'm going to go sine 55 times 8, divide all that by 12, but that gives me sine of r. So I'm going to have to second function sine my answer. So I guess if you really wanted to, you could do this all at once, make this r, and you could go second function sine, bracket, all of this mess, close bracket. But to do that and not screw up in your calculator is going to be a bit of a feat, and I find it easier to just solve this first, then do the second function sine. It's all up to you. So, handy dandy little calculator. Make sure you're in degrees, not rads. So that would be under your mode option. I'm just going to show the camera just to make sure we all know. If I'm at my calculator, I just hit the mode button. It comes up with a little screen, and I go down to where it says radians and degrees and make sure it's in degrees, and then hit enter. So that should be fine. Get out of there. You just go second function quit. Now I'm going to put that in, and I'm not doing the crazy one because I'm not that skilled. So I'm just going sine of 55 times 8. I'm even going to hit the equals button in the meantime because I like to keep it simple. Divided by 12 equals, and then I'm going to go second function sine, second function my negative because that's where my answer button is instead of having to write all of that in, and then click 33 degrees. So we solved this one. It's 33 degrees. Hey, the crowd goes wild. Now, I've got two angles, so the next thing I can do is solve that angle. I don't care about the sine law right now. I'm just going to use 180 minus, right? So 55 and 33 gives me 88. 180 minus 88 gives me 92. Yeah? Sound fair? Well, let's go with that. All right, now I've got 92 degrees. Awesome. One thing left to do. I need to solve this side. So now we go back to the sine law, and I can set up, and I would honestly do sine 55 over 12 again, because those are the numbers that the question gave you. Just in case you screwed yours up, you don't want to perpetuate that error any more than you have to, so you want to use the original numbers. Equals sine of 92 over the side that we're looking for. So now my cross multiply and divide looks a little bit different, because I'm going to cross multiply sine 92 by 12 and then divide by sine 55. And that's going to give me my answer straight. I'm not going to have to worry about yeah, no, we're good. I'm not going to have to worry about doing any second function signs. So, clear my calculator, and I'm just going to punch this in, sine 92, close bracket. Make sure you don't leave the bracket open when you do the multiply by 12. And then divide by sine of 55, close bracket, gets me 14.6. So if I look at my triangle, does it make sense that my hypotenuse, or the one that's the longest side, I guess I should say, because it's not really a hypotenuse here, because that's not exactly 90, but the longest side is the biggest number? Yeah, so then that should be a reasonable answer, and I can be fairly confident that I went through all the stuff right. And I mean, we can look at the book and get the answer key says yes, so we're good to go. Sorry, I'll just turn this off now. It gets edited.